her commitment to publishing truthful stories, regardless of the repercussions under military governance. After the annulment of her husband's presidential elections in 1993, Doyinsola actively supported the movement for democracy in Nigeria by leveraging her extensive international network and ensuring that Concord remained a respected voice of dissent. Under her guidance, Concord Press and its journalists faced repeated repercussions for delivering accurate reports that highlighted the grim realities of life under military rule. Despite the obstacles, she persevered, and Concord played a crucial role in the fight for democracy in Nigeria. Although the long-term damage from the military's prolonged closure of the paper and the lack of advertising due to political pressures ultimately led to its downfall. Following the death of her husband in 1998 and the subsequent closure of Concord Press, Doyinsola persisted in her attempts to elevate African journalism. For 10 years, from 1999 to 2009, she was a member of the judging panel for the CNN African Journalists Awards, even taking on the role of chairperson. Her work with the CNN African Journalists Awards helped shine a light on often neglected African narratives in journalists across various media, including print, television, radio, photography, and digital platforms. Full circle, 40 years after her career-defining column, Tiro, Doyinsola resumed writing Sunday with Dr. Doyin Abiola, a weekly column for Punch newspapers, addressing pressing social and political matters. Throughout Doyinsola's remarkable journey as a journalist, she garnered numerous accolades, such as the Wole Soyinka Award for Journalistic Excellence, the Diamond Award for Media Excellence Dame Lifetime Achievement Award, and the This Day Award for Excellence. Throughout her life, Doyinsola's passion for nation building remained strong, with a particular focus on fostering youth development in her later years. She was a member of the Board of Trustees of the Chrysalis Youth Foundation, a non-governmental organization accredited by the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award Foundation. Beyond professional accomplishments and community contributions, she was a loving mother, grandmother, and sister. On August 5, 2025, at the age of 82, the Lord called Doyinsola home. She is survived by her daughter, Doyinsola Abiola Tobun, her son-in-law, Oluwabamiche Tobun, her two sisters, Yabode and Ronke Aboaba, and her grandchildren, Oluwamunumidu and Oluwafemishure Tobun.
Can we celebrate a life of impact, ladies and gentlemen? I wonder why they didn't mention about mommy's very classy, chic fashionista. You know, mommy always gives them nuts. Very, very, very cute. I remember, so fun fact, the late Dr. Mrs. Abiola was the very first person that took me to the city of Dubai. My very first time traveling to Dubai. It was Doyin and Bamishe's wedding. And we had there was so much drama. But she was calm through it all, always smiling. In the midst of the greatest storms, this woman, where we were losing our head, how will we do this? How will we do this? She was just the voice of reason, voice of calm. Always, always, never under pressure. And that's the kind of woman we're celebrating today. But ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I'm going to open the floor for some tributes. And this first set of tributes are people who know her, who also have very intimate relationship with her, who some of them you can say they are daughters or mentees or colleagues. I'm going to start with the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole. Please a round of applause for her.
evening, Your Excellencies. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to rest on the earlier adumbrated protocols. This is a tribute to my godmother, Dr. DOYINSOLA ABIOLA. Auntie Doyin and my mother, Mrs. Folashade Olumide, were best friends while they were at Queen's College and remain friends for life. The gift of time. As a little girl, my first pair of gold earrings were a gift from my godmother. It was one item in a package of other child-friendly gifts that I can't remember now, but my mom kept them safe until I was older and could appreciate the thoughtful gesture. I still have those earrings till today. That level of intentionality and investment in a girl under 10 years old says it all. Auntie Doyin was an extremely intentional person. As I grew older, in my university days especially, I took to driving to Ikeja unannounced to visit her from time to time. When I think of it now, I wonder how she made the time. If she was home, she would take time to see me in the middle of her day and have long, patient conversations with me about life. Her life, my life, the choices we make, lessons from things happening around us, everything, like I was a real adult. Then I would most certainly always leave with something dainty, often perfume or some other nice feminine item. When I was planning to get married, I said to my parents that naturally, I would like my godmother to chair our wedding reception. She was the only choice for us, and she took the role with great pride. I remember she bought us our first fridge freezer and had it delivered to our marital home. Time passed, and the visits continued in Doyinsola and Bamishe's home. Auntie, you told me many, many life stories. We discussed many things that no one else would or could tell me. Now, as a real adult, you spoke to me intimately about yourself, about marriage, your career, about money, power, influence, politics, children, society, name it. In 2015, when I was first appointed as an aide in the office of the Vice President, my boss was here, you told me frankly that married women run a risk to their marriages when they move to Abuja. Well, you were blunter than this, but that warning never left me till today. Auntie, thank you for all those visits and those mostly one-on-one conversations. You extended your warmth and openness to my husband too. You were always so, so proud of me and always told me that I was like you. Every landmark in my life, especially my career, you celebrated like you always knew I could and would achieve. You loved pouring from your wealth of experience into me, and I listened and listened and learned. Over the years, what I enjoyed most about my godmother were those conversations. I will cherish them forever. Rest in peace, Auntie. You did well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Minister. The next speaker is none other than the chairman of Ovation Media Group, Chief Dele Momodu. Please, a round of applause for him.
Good evening. I will skip the protocol because I've been given only 3 minutes. I will start by thanking Doyin and her husband for inviting me to speak. I wasn't going to say anything, but she said, no, for mommy, it would be nice if you come. Mine are snippets of my moments with her. The first thing I would like to say is a big thank you to her. That title is not original to me. The patent for that title belongs to Chief Mrs. Adebisi Abiola. Please, a big round of applause for her. They lived across each other at Daddy's house on Towing Street, and I used to navigate my way. Daddy had told me that if you must be a polygamist, you must be a competent polygamist. So if you must be a son of a competent polygamist, then you must know how to navigate and meander in the home of a polygamist. So we'll start from upstairs, go to mommy's apartment, Alaja Kudrat, then come to Bisi Abiola, and then finally to Iyapepa, who was my boss at Concord. I came to Lagos in 1988 in search of greener pastures, if I can borrow that cliche. And I was desperate for a job. I had studied Yoruba for my first degree, and I couldn't get a job even as a teacher. And my mother was wondering if I wanted to become a babalawo, or why would I go to a university and study Yoruba. Then I went back to do a master's in literature in English. I still couldn't get a job. And my mother was wondering if witches and wizards were after me from my father's village in Edo State. But fortunately, one thing led to the other, and a friend of mine of blessed memory, Onukaba Dinoyojo, said I should try Concord. Then I went to Concord, reluctantly, because that time, what people used to say about Abiola is, oh, he's an Islamic fundamentalist, and that's why it's not good to listen to rumors. So reluctantly, because I didn't have a job, I accepted the job in May 1988. But Dr. Doyin Abiola knew how to spot talents. By the time I started in May, in February, I got a call from Mr. Michael Woyinfa that I was being transferred to a weekend paper. He said, me, a scholar? I'm almost doing a PhD. They said, yes. He said, Dr. Doyin Abiola insisted they must pick me amongst those who will start the weekend Concord. I had no choice. I went. And then I wrote the first cover. The second cover, we started in March 1989. You will not believe it. Dr. Doyin Abiola will call my editor, Michael Woyinfa, and say, look, don't let that guy run away. He's too good on your paper. Before I could say Jack Robinson, by May, 2 months after we started the paper, they promoted me, gave me double promotion, and I became a literary editor. 6 months after, news editor. Unfortunately, you know, when you write so fast, you also reach your dead end so quickly. So we had Michael Woyinfa as editor. We had Dingba Igwe of blessed memory as deputy. As news editor, I was now number 3. There was nowhere else for me to go because my editor told me, unless you kill us, you are going nowhere. So eventually, Mayor Lynn Ezekiel, also of blessed memory, came to poach me from Concord. I couldn't tell my chairman, Chief Abiola. So I went to Dr. Abiola and I said, Mommy, I want to leave Concord. He said, why? She said, why? I said, because I've already reached my peak and my editors are saying unless I kill them, I cannot get any further promotion. To cut a long story short, the only question she asked me that day was, Dele, are you sure you can edit a magazine? I said, yes, ma'am. He said, then I wish you well. Any other selfish publisher or managing director would have discouraged me. She never did. And then when I was going to have my first child, I'm just going to give you a few snippets. I realized that we didn't have telephones in those days. So my wife was in England, and it was during the June 12 crisis. So I used to go to her apartment to go and receive calls. Can you believe how far we have come in Nigeria? We used to go there, and when my first child was born, she was the first to announce to me that a child has been born to my family. There is no way I can ever forget that. Then when I opened my restaurant in Ghana, I just called her, and you won't believe it, she traveled all the way to Ghana. She was always showing me love. We discussed every issue. When Daddy was in detention, the first time that she received a note from Daddy from prison, she called me and said, Daddy said I should come to Gashua prison disguised to come and see him. Unfortunately, on my way to Gashua, I was told they've moved him, and I never saw Daddy again. So Bomi was totally committed to her husband and to Nigeria. Our role in June 12 has not been properly documented. So I hope that Doyin will make every effort to document her role, because she was an intellectual powerhouse. Thank you so much for this opportunity as I head out of here to go to Ghana for a wedding tonight. Thank you so much.
Bob D. If Bob D was not my Egmo, that I know very well, I would have probably suggested that that trip he was supposed to make to Gajwa, it was somehow intentional that he did not go. Because the average person, and they say come and visit somebody even in the police detention, you just start remembering the things that you yourself will have done. Let it not be that you're going to go and visit somebody and they hold you back. Permit me to quickly acknowledge and welcome former Governor of Ogun State and former First Lady, Senator Ibikunle Amusu and Mrs. Olufusha Amusu. You're most welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Please a round of applause for them. All right, coming up next with our own tributes as the founder of Tiffany Amber Fashion Group, this is Folake Akindele. Another of Mommy's daughters, mentees.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies. Please allow me to rest on existing protocol. Auntie Doyin was more than an icon to me. She was family, a constant reminder of what it means to live with purpose and grace. From my earliest memories, when she walked through the doors of Tiffany Amber, she carried herself with a quiet strength that made you sit up straighter in her presence. She never needed to raise her voice, even when we would upset her to no end. Her brilliance, her elegance, and her compassion did all the speaking. I remember sitting with her as a young woman, nervous at the paths I wanted to take in life. She would look at me in the eye, smile that knowing smile, and tell me, Folake, the world is yours to shape. Never dim your light. Those words stayed with me. They gave me courage in my personal and my professional life, especially when things seemed daunting. And they continue to echo in my heart even now. Auntie Doyin was a pioneer, yes. The first Nigerian woman to rise to the very top of a national newspaper. A voice of truth in turbulent times. A woman who broke many barriers so others could walk freely. But to me, she was that special woman who checked in quietly. A role model that showed me that power and femininity were not opposites. And a woman who embodied dignity no matter what the storm. She supported me not just as Folake the designer, but Folake the person, encouraging, challenging, and constantly reminding me of my worth. I never forget the times that she would come and sit in the audience at my shows, not needing to say much, but her presence alone was a blessing. I met her lovely daughter, Doyin, who became my dear Aburo. I struggled for years to call her Doyin, as we say in Yoruba, "Oh, wolenumi." And it's only recently, in the past 2 weeks or so, that I started calling her Doyin. Thank you, Doyin, for sharing her with us. Her legacy as in Nigerian journalism will be studied and celebrated. But for those of us who knew her closely, her true legacy is the love, wisdom, and courage she poured into us. Auntie Doyin, thank you for being a lighthouse in my life and in the lives of so many. You always live in my heart. You ran your race gracefully and beautifully. Rest well.
Thank you very much. To round off this first set of tributes, I'm going to invite, with all the pleasure that I can muster, Miss Ibukun Abidoye. Please a round of applause for her. Also want to acknowledge, there's so many people, but Uncle, the one we call Uncle Sam, even at the age of 90, he's still regarded as Uncle Sam, a father of journalism. Thank you so much for coming, Uncle Sam. Also, Mr. Ndukau Baibena, you're most welcome, so thank you very much.